Okay, guys, hello and welcome back to Relevant Founders, brought to you by Relevant Software. Today, we've got LaKeisha Turner with us, co-founder, CTO, and VP of Engineering at AlgoPear. Quite a title there, LaKeisha. LaKeisha, what I want you to do, just introduce yourself for us, for our listeners, and just say a little bit about what is it you are doing at AlgoPear.
Yeah, LaKeisha Turner, the CTO and co-founder of AlgoPear. And AlgoPear is a marketplace that connects retail investors with AI investing technology. We make wealth building faster, safe, and hands-free. So that's pretty much like what we do. Imagine something like Robinhood, but we pick the stocks for you and outperform the average of 401k.
Nice. Okay, very, very nice. How did you, it's a very interesting name. How did you come up with the name AlgoPear?
So basically, we ask a series of questions to determine what type of investor you may be, like an aggressive, moderate, or a conservative investor. And we pair you with the right algorithms. So we kind of play on the word pair, P-E-A-R instead of P-A-I-R. So that's where it came from.
Tell me, obviously your title, big title, co-founder, CTO, and VP of Engineering. Tell me about how you deal with basically that amount of work in one role. That's a lot of work.
Yes, it is a lot of work, but it was a gradual process. Started out, my co-founder and the CEO had a vision of doing something like this. He worked for TD Ameritrade, and he saw a need that retail traders did not have access to algorithms like a hedge fund or people with a lot of money do. So he asked them, why don't they offer that to retail traders? They didn't have any answers and probably weren't going to do that. So he said, okay, I'll build it myself. And that's how the idea came across. And he found me on LinkedIn and needed a technical person to bring the vision to life. And so I started, we made the MVP together. He gave me the vision. I put it in, I guess a web form of it. And, so it gradually went from there. We made the MVP and then we started building a team around me. So that at that point I became like the, VP of engineering, hiring and all of those things. And then next the CTO. So.
Okay, very, very nice. We're actually going to go on to hiring most definitely a little bit later. You touched upon your MVP there. Talk to me about your MVP. How did you approach its development?
So I approached it, basically I had what we wanted to do initially. The approach I took was I already had experience in cloud engineering with, AWS. So I just kind of created the architecture in like a serverless stack, which is the cheapest thing that we could do. So I made, the services individual in Lambdas and using the API gateway in AWS for the backend and created a database, a relational database, an RDS database. And for the front end, I used React, just the most modern and recent technologies out there to get started with.
How long did it take you to build your original MVP?
I believe it took about like 6 months.
Okay. So you built it all yourself, or did you have any help from outsourcing any parts of it?
We didn't outsource. I did most of it myself. And then we hired some interns to kind of help out. So I kind of led and taught interns what needed to be done. And we divided it up in tasks. So I was the initial product manager. I didn't do the greatest job as product manager, but I did like well enough for us to get something out there.
Tell me, okay, you said there about not the greatest job as product manager. What do you mean? What is the greatest job a product manager can do? Why do you feel that your role there wasn't so great?
Because I just didn't have experience being a product manager. I was on a lot of agile teams before. I have a lot of experience in IT, so I kind of saw what they did in engineering. For the engineering team, but all of the other things like the specs, writing out a lot of the, I guess the ideas and putting everything into a roadmap. I wasn't the greatest at. I did do it, but I didn't hone in on those product management skills. We eventually hired a product manager.
It's kind of I hear this a lot from a lot of co-founders about. When you're a co-founder, it's about wearing a lot of hats. Yeah, you just got to do what you got to do, and you learn on the job. Yeah, and it's a tough thing to do, most definitely. Okay, we touched a little bit there about outsourcing. Tell me about outsourcing. So, are you outsourcing at the moment? What are you outsourcing your software engineers and anything like this at the moment?
No, we're not outsourcing. We hired everyone in-house.
Tell me about that. Tell me about that decision. Do you prefer in-house versus outsourcing, and why?
Well, at this point, the outsourcing would probably, I think what we want to do is kind of build a team that is invested in AlgoPear. So initially we did not have money. We had no money, and everybody's working on equity. So everyone that we had was equity based. So everybody kind of grew with the company. So, we didn't have money to outsource. At this point, we are in like pre-seed. We are, starting to pay people, but still the money is not there to outsource. So we're still offering equity and, payment for individuals. So I think when we get to the next level, Series A, we may consider it.
Interesting. Okay. So all hands on deck really at the moment. Yeah, lots of work to do. Tell me, when you do considering outsourcing, is there a specific place where you guys will look to outsource? Is there anywhere kind of that it seems like the superstar areas to outsource to at the moment?
I would probably want a place that is similar to our time zone. I wouldn't want a place that, where we're working in the daytime and they're working at night and the communication is bad. I want to be able to communicate in a timely manner and, understand them and they understand us.
This is something I hear actually a lot of the time about outsourcing. The biggest difficulty, let's not say issue, but difficulty is the time zones. Some people say actually it does help though, because you can get ahead and you can get, as long as you're planned, as long as you've got the timing to plan ahead, obviously then they can perform what they need to do. By the time you're waking up, the job's already done, and so on and so forth. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about some challenges. What has been the biggest tech challenge which you faced since the foundation of AlgoPear?
Just keeping up with a lot of the things that we want to do, like the thing in a timely manner. Like their speed is the biggest tech challenge. We want things in our system so that we can, make money, but the time it takes to get it there has been an issue.
The prioritization, that's a word.
Yes.
Sometimes, isn't it? Absolutely. Okay. Talk to me, obviously female founder, female founder in the tech world. Talk to me, what have been the challenges which you have faced being a female founder in the tech world? Has there been any challenges? Because obviously there are, on a scale, obviously much more male founders. And what have been the challenges you faced? What can be the advice you can give to other female founders or aspiring female founders looking to start their tech company?
I haven't faced too many challenges, not with my group of people that I work with. And I haven't faced too many problems with being a female founder, but I would say to most female founders is to speak up, make sure that your ideas and your voices are heard. And don't, women tend to sometimes stay quiet when they have something they want to say. So just make sure that you're bold and make sure that, your ideas are heard as well.
Speak up, talk loud, and be heard, basically. Yeah, exactly. Okay. What about right now? So we're talking about the biggest challenge, obviously, is being able to prioritize what you're doing. What about right now? Going through what you're going through at AlgoPear now, what would be the biggest challenge you're currently facing?
Some of the biggest challenges that we're currently facing, like I said, with prioritization. Another challenge is technical debt. Like how do we put that into our roadmap and still get the features out that we want. So we want to have an efficient, product, but in that technical debt is important. In some sprints we may not have anything to release. So that type of thing is when to do what and how to keep your product efficient and up to date and also release.
How are you tackling that then? So if there's that challenge of prioritizing, I think I'm saying that word wrong for some reason. But how do you tackle that challenge? What are you doing specifically to know what needs to come next?
We all, as a business, kind of get together. We let everybody know, what we want to do, and we all come up with a decision on what's more important, what's less important, and when we can do that. So it's just communication.
Communication key, absolutely. I guess a lot of pivots there as well.
Lots of pivots, yes.
How do you cope with the pivots at AlgoPear? Have there been any kind of really significant pivots since the beginning?
Yes, in the beginning, we were offering just like signals only to users. But from listening to our customers, that's not really what they wanted.
Uh-huh.
They wanted something, where the system could actually trade for them. So we pivoted from just offering signals, and we instead offered a marketplace of algorithms. So that was our major pivot coming into AlgoPear.
Mm-hmm. Nice. It's something I hear a lot, pivoting, listening to the market, listening to the customers, basically. And every time you listen, there will be a different pivot. What has been the most recent pivot you've had to make?
Most recent pivot is probably our pricing. So that's always something up in the air, but we're trying to find the best way to maximize, our pricing and maximize the amount of money that we receive, and be efficient for our customers and for our algorithm creators.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. Pricing, absolutely. Tell me, okay, so you're saying you're trying to build in-house at the moment. When you were building your team, when you were getting your product manager, were you like everyone else in the industry at the moment? Did you find it difficult to find your staff? Did you find it difficult to find your engineers, and not just normal engineers, those that fit, one, with your culture, and two, with your requirements?
Yeah, there's always challenges in hiring. We did interview a whole lot of people for product management, and I guess the biggest challenge was just taking the time out to actually do the interview and coming up with, what we were going to ask them. Making the decisions and determinations on how we're going to structure our interview process, and what tools we're going to use to find people.
Mm-hmm. Talk to me about those tools. What tools do you use? How do you how do you find your fit?
We actually use a tool that posts to LinkedIn, Indeed, and all of the other job boards all in one. So we use that tool, and we post our job there. We also post it on our website. So we have people coming from different avenues, to find us. So that's how we did it. For the engineers, I actually used I outsourced a recruiter to find engineer. I think it was the Judge Group. So we found one of our engineers there. And for the initial engineers, we used interns, and some of the interns became employees, and people that were already in my network.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk a little bit about interns there, because interns is obviously a very interesting one, because it takes a lot of work as well to teach the interns what you want, how you want them. Are there more pros to cons to hiring the interns, and how did you approach that?
I think there's more pros than cons to hiring interns. There's obviously cons, but a lot of the interns that we chose were already in the technology industry, so it wasn't very hard to teach them because they already had some programming skills and all of those things. All they needed to know is what we wanted them to do. So how I approached teaching them is I would maybe every so often, I was like, once or twice a week, we'd have a session on maybe we're going to talk about Node this session and how to do this, and then we're going to talk about React this session. So how will we approach something here? I also, in the meantime, gave them, we paid for access for Coursera or Udemy for the specific tools that we wanted to do, and that's how we were able to get our interns up to a point where they were really beneficial for our company.
Mm-hmm. Nice. So actually, you managed to create a kind of a program in, so it didn't take so much of your time and was more kind of fluid, the process of teaching them. Yeah. Nice. Okay. Tell me about your requirements of people that are joining your team. What is the perfect fit for AlgoPear?
Somebody that has a good personality, that's easy to get along with. That is probably the most important thing. And the skills that we're looking for come after that. You can learn what you need to learn. It's just are you going to be a good fit for working with everyone on the team?
Mm-hmm. How do you figure that out in an interviewing process? As a CTO, obviously, that's one of your main jobs. Main roles. How do you figure that out? How do you suss, that person I want on my team?
We ask culture fit questions in the beginning, and then just gauge their personality and how they answer, and if they're upbeat, if they're I guess their personality seems like they would work well with others.
Mm-hmm.
But with the that's with product and the other product management and designers and all those types of things. But now with the engineers, it may be a little different because it's not so much personality based. It's like more ingenuity based. You know, how technical they are, how you know, they also need to be able to work with a team, but also be, you know, skilled. The skills are more important with an engineer versus when someone's coming in like as a product or a designer or something like that.
Absolutely, absolutely. What is okay, so with the market, as we were saying earlier, suffering from a lack of tech talent, what would you say there isn't enough good of? Is there not enough good of specific engineers? What have you found?
Not enough good. I mean, I've come across some great engineers. So I would say the issue that I've been having with engineers is more personality based. You know, those types that they still, although their technical skills are very important, that you still have to be able to, I guess, function in a team.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know, be able to work with others and not just be a lone ranger.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Are you completely offline, online? How do you work this? So all your engineers, all your staff, are you working remote?
Yes, we are remote. Everybody's remote.
How do you find that? How do you find managing a team remotely? What do you do specifically to, you know, bring the AlgoPear kind of atmosphere to the team?
Yeah, so we have, you know, the stand-ups every morning. We also, you know, have meetings throughout the week for like different teams. Like, you know, our product team would have meetings, you know, for different brainstorming ideas. Our engineers have their, you know, deep dive meetings. Designers have their deep dive meetings. And each week I have a product kickoff meeting where I kind of like bring, you know, AlgoPears, you know, bring all of like, you know, business information to the team. Any type of, you know, grievances or issues that, you know, somebody may have, we address. Any questions that need to be answered get answered. So I kind of have like that weekly meeting to just kind of reset everyone and just reset our focus and our vision. It's like a vision meeting, I guess. So every week, throughout the week, we're always constantly meeting, and our hours are usually from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. So we do a 6-hour work day and a 4-day work week.
Wow. Okay. Tell me more about that. Why did you choose the 6-hour work day and 4-hour work week, 4-day work week? Sorry. Tell me about that.
Basically, we don't want our team to burn out, and we want them to feel happy about working with us and be, you know, fresh. And it has worked out very well. By Fridays anyway, people are kind of like checked out anyway. So we might as well just let everybody have Friday off, and everybody has a 3-day weekend. So Monday through Thursday, we hit it hard, work hard. We only set meetings between 9 a.m. and 9 a.m. and 3. No meetings after 3 p.m. Central Time. And then everybody has a chance to work or whatever they want to do, catch up or whatever, Monday through Thursday after 3 p.m. And they can work Friday if they want to, but it's not required. We will not have meetings on Friday.
Is that possible to create in a startup? Is it possible right from the beginning to make that work-life balance? Did you find yourself right at the beginning, maybe even now, where you think, oh my God, I've had an 80, 100-hour week? Or were you really strict with yourself and made sure you never did that?
Well, this came up because I was doing that. You know, I was initially, I worked like a lot, and plus I had a full-time job, so I wasn't getting paid from the startup. I worked a full-time job while building the startup. So I was constantly working, and I was starting to burn out. So the decision I made, you know, I didn't want anybody else to feel that way and, you know, start to resent, you know, being, you know, on our team and doing our work is to do that.
Interesting. My next question, I think that's kind of answers my next question. I was going to say, what do you see as key to retaining an employee? I guess one of them is respecting their time, work-life balance. What else do you do at AlgoPear to retain a key employee?
Respecting people's ideas. Everybody has ideas and everybody's free to express those. We want to hear about what everyone has to say. And a lot of times those ideas come up in like our product roadmap, you know, so like all of our team is able to contribute their ideas and, you know, all of those types of things. So we respect everybody's ideas. We also, you know, let people speak in meetings, like respect everybody's ability to speak, you know, without interruption. So those types of things.
Interesting. Yeah, you know, so it's the people want to create, people want to be part of something, yeah, and allowing them to be part of what you're building. Okay. What tips can you give to other founders here? Obviously, so this is a podcast for tech founders. What kind of tips can you give to other tech founders for creating the most perfect team? If at AlgoPear, you've got the most perfect team, how would you say others need to do it?
And follow some of the things that we've done. The work-life balance. Making sure having one-on-one meetings with all of the team members. I do that every other week, one-on-one, to make sure they're okay. If there's anything that they're feeling, just to make sure we retain people. Make one-on-one meetings, let everybody have a voice, and just show general respect for others.
What kind of predictions have you got for, well, we're already halfway through, for the rest of the year?
Yeah, so where we're trying to go is we want to be a broker. So we're going to start working towards that, becoming a broker and allowing people to, use our company without third parties. So right now we use a third party broker to do our trades. So our goal is to actually become our own broker, become more compliant in the finance world. So we're going to seek after all the compliance licenses and all of those types of things.
Mm-hmm. Yes. How are you going to battle that? Is there anything more specific? Will you have to take on more staff? Will that be a bigger workload? How would you battle that?
Yeah, of course. We're going to have to, increase our staff to do that. And I think we may have to make some specific hires for, security and maybe some more business type people. So yes.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Interesting. Okay, so very interesting times ahead for you guys at AlgoPear, most definitely. Hard work, but worth it actually in the end. Yeah. Tell me more kind of on a personal level. Obviously, as a co-founder, entrepreneur, tech lead, let's say here, tech leader, not tech lead. What is the advice that you wish someone told you before you started AlgoPear, before you started on your journey? What do you wish someone told you to help you propel success at AlgoPear?
Coming into it, I had no idea on how to, trade in the stock market. I wish, I would have known how, had some type of skills in that area before starting AlgoPear, and that probably would have, helped us, be further along at this point. So yeah, I wish I would have had more industry experience.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay, industry experience. Do you think that's, in talking about that, do you think that is important, obviously, in regards to when you're hiring as well? Is it important for you to hire someone who has had the specific tech education to get that kind of baseline knowledge, or are you kind of open to more kind of anything here?
I'm open to anyone really, but preferably someone that has worked in the financial sector, like banks, those types of things, that understand the security levels that that should be in place for those things.
And last question for you. Do you think there has to be, or is there a certain type of person who can work in a startup, or can anyone work in a startup?
Anyone can, but the person has to have patience. See things in a long-term vision versus a short-term. Yes, you can make a lot of money working for bigger companies, but really, what do you have? You just have that money. You're not even a part of something that you're building. You're just a number. So that's making a lot of money. So look at things from another lens. Look at things in a long-term vision, and that you're building something that's going to be impactful, and you're going to be part owner of that. So look for ownership versus just a quick dollar.
Absolutely. You're behind the driving seat. Yeah, you're in the driving seat. You're the one that can make the change. Something that I find with pretty much most startup founders that I speak to is we're building a startup to make the world a better place, to make the world an easier place, let's say. And it's one of the advantages of running a startup. Okay. LaKeisha, really, really amazing to speak to you today. Thank you for all of your answers and answering all of my questions. It's going to be really helpful for anyone on the same journey and looking for some advice. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to press the thumbs up button below. Also, subscribe to our channel to make sure you don't miss out on any future content coming your way in the near future. Also, I really want to know your opinion about this episode, so be sure to leave a comment down below in the comment section. Okay guys, that's all for now. See you soon.